Wadi National Park, actually all the life is concentrated around the wetland ecosystem. Wetland and water is the center of the life.
You have many different endemic species and a lot of biodiversity hidden in this arid environment that from far away you could think, well, there is nothing in this mountain, but when you start investigating you realize there is a lot of life. In regard to dragonfly, it's also a hot spot for the region. In UAE you have 31 species which have been officially recognized, and 24 of them have been identified now here in Wadi Wurayah.
They are magnificent old species. They are aged 300 million years old. So for us, monitoring these species is very important to understand how the ecosystem function, especially in Wadi Wurayah, where the environment is highly dynamic and the flash flood changed the wadi bed. They are fragile, they are colorful, and they are agile. Their body structure and the patterns, everything about this species make them unique, including their life cycle, amphibian life cycle, where they spend more than half of their life in the water. They breathe underwater and they emerge and they start to fly.
In June 2013, and we had the visit at that time of David Shelmish. He's the president of the Odontological Society of Britain. Approached us to make a visit of the park because at this time the park was already famous for the diversity of dragonflies.
We went up the wadi and I took lots of photographs and I collected lots of exuviae, which are the husk, the larval case of the dragonfly. And I'd collected this funny exuvia. It was big with no spines and I couldn't work it out. And I sent it to all sorts of people and all sorts of people wrote back and said, we've no idea. And eventually I sent it to a friend of mine in Germany and he worked out that it was a Erythemis exuvia and therefore it must be Erythemis thomasi. How about that? It was wonderful.
We were not sure if it was still alive or existing because the last observation, like last record of this species was nearly 30 years that the species has not been recorded and officially published. We don't know why this species in particular is rare. And you find it here, it's present, it's always in low number. So this is what we are going to investigate in more detail. The Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Fund helped us a lot, in fact, by developing the survey. Many sites have been reviewed in UAE. Going there again to try to find specifically Erythemis thomasi, to identify the status, to clarify the distribution. Now we are knowing that the species is here and we are going nearly every day in Wadi Wurayah. We tagged something like 450 individuals and we had a 12% recapture rate. So which depends from the species, but it gives us some idea of the population turnover. Dragonflies, they are not very active early. So for people who don't like to wake up too early, it's a good species to study because if you go in the field at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's fine because they will just start their activity because they link their activity to the temperature. Important outcome of the project was the possibility to join together some world specialists of dragonfly of the Middle East. People from Belgium, England, France that came to group together and discuss the subject, specifically on Urotemistomazy, on how to conduct the survey, what to investigate more, and this it was really helpful for us as well to have the different opinion of different specialists. One of the main threats is the disappearance of the habitat. Then you have the change of habitat, because you can still have the habitat present, but there are some human intervention to artificialize the site. We don't know exactly how the climate will affect the region, but if there are some increase in temperature or change in precipitation, it can also completely affect the cycle of the species. Because some slight change in water temperature might affect the development of the larva. All the life cycle of the dragonfly are really linked to water. That's why Wadi wurayah is so important for dragonflies, because it's one of the rare places in the area where you find so much water. So you have a concentration of species linked to water.
I think the most important thing for the rest of this, for now, for the future, is to survey the lowland wadis. The thing about the UAE is Wadi Wurayah is one of the best and only permanent wadis at low level in the region, and that's why it's so important for Eurothemis. Obviously surveying it in other parts, in Oman, similarly, in the lowlands, and when we found the best sites for it, then we can put some conservation measures in place to make sure that we've got the species for future generations.